Hi, my name's Cody Weldon. I'm one of the main engineers here at Polaris Recording Studios, and today I want to talk to you about how I use one of my favorite McDSP plugins. So today I've pulled up a track by Part of the Plan, and the McDSP plugin that I want to talk to you about is the ML4000 Multiband Dynamics and Mastering Limiter. In this case, I've got the ML4 on my master auxiliary, and I'm really only using the multiband compression set of it to kind of finalize my mix and make it sweeten the way it's supposed to sound. So I started with absolutely nothing. I didn't use a preset, although the ML4K presets are truly great if you want to use them. But I started by looking right at the low-mid portion of the signal. And I really was focused on getting that snare and just kick low-end transient just completely pumped out. I wanted it to pop out of the mix really, really well. So I've opted for a really long attack and a relatively short release, and then I tweaked the thresh to make sure it was where I needed it to be. The next thing I listened to was I checked out the low sub information, everything below 100, and there I'm just kind of leveling it out every time the kick happens. And this is again to make it pop out. I'm using a slow attack and a fast release. The next thing I started with, this is something I really had to get right, was the upper mids. I went from 1K to about 6K on the crossover, and I really was focused on making sure the snare popped out again like I did with the low mids. So I've got a relatively long attack and short release time. Ratios are all really low because it's a mastering limiter. And then I touched up the high end, and this was to clamp down on the cymbals, so I had a really fast attack and slow release. From there, you'll notice I've moved the bands here and there to make sure everything is compensated for, and then I've also used it almost as an EQ to help sweeten up my track in the high end and give it that feeling like it's a modern, really truly modern mix. And then on the final side of things, I've got a limiter, which I'm just kind of using to chop stuff down and make sure none of the peaks, the transients that I've emphasized at least, make sure none of the peaks and transients pop too far out of the limiter and peak my channels. So now that you've heard this mix and seen the way I've used this ML4000 compressor, I'd like to show you what the track sounded like before and after. So this was with it on, and this was without it. It feels like it's got a little bit of wool over it. Things aren't punching out as much as I'd like them to, and everything seems really wild and just really aggressive, I guess, and in your face, and not in the best kind of way. And it just brings it to life. Again. So that's how I use the McDSP ML4000. This is just one of their many plugins that I use on a daily basis in my life as an engineer. And I would really advise you to check out their entire plugin collection because everything they make is top-notch professional quality.